And what's your fetish?
I don't think I have one, actually.
Jacob?
Oh, yeah, right. We're getting deferred to.
You don't have to review.
You don't have to.
I mean, yeah, no.
But you did bring it up earlier, so now I want to hear.
I know, like, there's a certain amount of.
Hello, and welcome to 7 Minutes in Hell. I am one of your hosts, Camry.
And I'm one of your other hosts, Joe. Hi,
That's
Camry.
it. Hi, Joe.
It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you.
Whew, we just did a tequila shot.
We're sleepy. And we're joined by our fellow coworker, Jacob. Hello, Jacob.
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
Jacob's trying to get on our level right now.
Yes, I certainly am.
He's drinking a cider.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to sober up.
Catch up, Jacob.
Jacob. Oh, he's okay. He's trying to stop. Jacob.
Oh.
Jacob, please, please don't. Please.
We don't force anyone to drink here. I
No, we
swear.
don't.
No,
And
no,
we just
no. I
joked-
did that entirely of my own volition. I want to be clear about that.
Okay, say that into camera. And
Oh,
smile.
yeah.
I know. I'm just kidding.
That's all this is about.
For legal purposes.
Jacob is a brilliant mind to begin with.
Yes.
But specifically, he is a mastermind of film.
Yes.
And we will be getting to that later in the show. So stay
stick around.
tuned. But Camry,
First.
your little mind came up with something.
My little mind.
Little.
Well,
Damn, man.
okay.
All that I can come up with.
The tequila.
My feeble little mind.
Sorry, that was condescending.
It's fine, whatever.
All right. Yikes.
Joe hates women, we know.
Should we restart? No, never.
So what my feeble little mind came up with was something a little freaky. We're talking about fetishes. Start that clock.
Whoa. She didn't even ease into it.
I didn't,
She's just
no.
like,
No.
we are going.
right
I'm
in.
too dumb to think of something to
Okay.
say,
Cameron,
according to Joe.
you're wasting your time. We should never drink before this show.
So Joe's wasted. So I want to talk about fetishes. What do you think is the most popular fetish?
Oh.
Oh,
What do you think?
Hmm.
I'm going to say foot stuff.
See it. You know what? I'll go for something bolder, I guess. Choking.
Oh.
I am that has to be higher up there than anyone wants to admit.
What?
We're getting some interesting reactions from Danny.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Danny off screen is like, oh yeah, he put a thumbs up.
So
He's
apparently
like,
Danny's a fan of
choking.
any fetishes. He's like, they're all good to me, brother.
Okay.
What?
Actually, it is Joe's correct. I
Yeah.
feel like you know that for other
Foot
reasons.
stuff.
Foot stuff is the most popular, mostly foot fetishes. And then that I kind of have a question for you again. Would you ever sell feet pics?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
I don't think anyone would want mine.
Oh.
No, there's an audience.
There's always an
Is-
audience.
Is there an audience for people who've had ingrown toenails?
I'm sure.
Whoa.
Or actually, yeah.
Some people are salivating right now.
No. Yeah,
They're like,
I've got some real photos for them. Then I don't know.
Ooh.
Well, no, because I'd one ingrown and I had to have it like fully removed, like the entire thing. And I've got that photo on my phone if anyone wants to see that.
Oh my God. Well, that price it appropriately.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
just
no,
give
no,
it
no,
away.
sell it. Yeah, just don't give it away. You gotta
I'm
sell
not
that.
just giving that away.
Drop your Venmo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have like the list? Is there, or did it just say foot?
It just
is
said foot
the top?
was the top.
Wow.
Which I feel like that's the easiest.
I'm not surprised based on the internet seems to have adopted this as
It
like,
has come.
this
It's
is
had
a
a
thing.
renaissance. Like it's come up so quickly. Foot fetishes.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to cater to.
Exactly.
Like, you don't really have to go very far.
Exactly. You're like, hey,
no
I
props
got shoes on.
required.
Right.
Like you know,
We all,
well,
have seen
not
feet.
everyone
I was like,
is
not everyone has
blessed
feet.
enough.
I know. I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
cut myself off there. Yeah, it's not, again, no judgment. It's not for me,
I would 1,000% sell feet pics if it.
but I would definitely sell mine.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to.
I'm trying to get that money.
I'd grow
baby.
out my toenails.
Oh.
I'd cut them. Whatever you want. You
You
can
grow them till they curl. Under.
I'll get hair extensions. I'll
On
shave
your-
them.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
I'm sure like hobbits have like. You think they'd be really popular because they have such big feet?
Oh yeah. I think.
Well, in those movies, those are just giant rubber shoes, essentially, that
Which
the
is
actors
hilarious.
have to wear every day. Like that's like a couple hours.
I feel
every
like
day.
that could also that alone could go for a pretty penny. Just
A
those
rubber.
shoes.
There's someone out there that's just been like having the best time of their life watching the behind the scenes of Lord of the
They're like,
Rings.
oh,
They're
yeah.
just like you apply that makeup, that kind of like weird. You just hear the unzip and the whole thing, you know?
Oh my God.
Joe.
Okay. Speaking of film, famously, there's a film director who
With a big
certainly
old
is.
foot fetish.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Quentin Tarantino. And arguably, actually, the guy did the Jurassic World movie, Colin Trevorrow. That dude loves feet too. There's a lot of directors that do. It's like, I don't know, maybe the most common fetish of directors. It's very, very strange.
Margot Robbie loves like showing her feet, doesn't she?
So they're a match made in heaven.
So-
that's why in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, she's literally like bare, dirty feet up.
Dirty feet. One Barbie movie.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
She's
Maybe
like,
she
look at these
really-
things.
Check
Flat
out
feet.
these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So
Yeah, I don't think mine are anything to
oh, share.
write home about.
No.
What do you
I think they're fine.
share with the class?
I have my second toe is
your
longer.
feet. I thought you meant your fetishes.
Oh,
I was like, share.
I don't think I have any fetishes.
Do you mind me asking what's second place? What's,
I don't know.
What's first? Oh, so we're only going with the number one, number with the
Number
bullet?
one,
Okay.
baby. If you ain't first, you're
Yeah,
last.
and what's your fetish?
All right.
I don't think I have one actually.
You don't have a fetish, Jacob.
Oh, yeah, great. We're getting deferred to.
You
know.
don't have to.
You
review.
don't
no,
have to.
I mean, yeah, no.
But you did bring it up earlier, so now I want to hear.
I don't know. Like, there's a certain amount of Dom stuff that's interesting.
Yes.
I'll admit that.
I like the way you phrased that.
Yeah.
You could still be elected president with that answer.
Yes. Yeah.
My
no, it's a very
constituents,
diplomatic
It's like,
answer.
hey,
I am interested
who doesn't like
in
little dogs?
Stuff. Yeah,
the
yeah.
Hobbit feet. Thank you and good night.
My fellow
Barlow.
Americans. Who among us?
hasn't.
The corn farmer in Iowa to the steel worker in Pennsylvania. We love fetishes.
Thank you, Joe, for president. Maybe
Thank you.
you can run now.
Her words.
I know. God, I'll never take that back.
Thank you.
But there's also. Did you know there's like some really, 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 really weird ones though too.
Oh, okay.
See, I've heard of my share, but I'm curious to see what's written down here.
So one of the weirdest ones I've heard of is balloons.
Okay, that's one I haven't. What are the technical details here? What are we talking about?
There's even like a Bob's Burgers episode about like I love Bob's Burgers, but
Okay.
a little thing. One of them is like one of it is you sit on a balloon and it pops and that's like supposed to be arousing. Or some people think that was the Bob's Burgers version. I don't know if that's like real, but there's also some where it's like the rubber
the sound?
or the sound, which is
That's awful.
literally you're an insane person if you
Yeah.
get turned on by that sound.
Pop.
No,
Or
the like rubbing.
I feel like at
that's the
that
one.
point you probably like touching cotton balls and just like weird, awful textural
just-
things.
yeah,
Like,
you're-
yeah. You're just built wrong. I don't.
You are
Yeah.
built wrong. What are some of the weird ones you've heard?
I mean, the kind of the classic awful fetish, vor, VORE. Like it's the fantasy of being swallowed by a giant woman. Like it's like and like it's nuts. Like it's a whole subgenre. I'm not making this up.
I believe you.
Yeah,
She's
no.
a giant?
Yeah, no, like the like it's literally a physically impossible fantasy. Like it's a you got to be a real filmmaker to make a vor film, I guess.
Well, and now with the meta glasses or whatever,
oh god,
You're
you could
like,
probably be in a
swallow
woman's
me.
mouth,
yeah,
right?
Well, that's all the time we have for this.
Yeah. Anyway, I
really went out on a note there,
Yep.
didn't we?
I liked that topic. I think it was educational. I didn't know about that one.
I love how it ended too.
And
so
I
that's
love when
great.
it ends on a high.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break and then we will be back with more of whatever
More.
just happened. 7 Minutes in Hell is proudly brought to you by TheCHIVE.
Feeling bland, boring, and uninspired? Want an easy way to lift your spirits and make life worth living?
TheCHIVE has the perfect thing to soothe what ails you. Chive Teas. Chive Teas are like a hug from an old friend on a crisp autumn eve.
Or a tall iced tea on a hot summer's day?
Wear a Chive Tea out and about and get ready for the compliments. So many compliments you'll feel like my smile. Loved by all.
So don't settle for bland and boring when you can be bold and beautiful. Shop the store at TheCHIVE.com and shine on like Joe's Grill.
We are back. We had a very fun off-mic conversation that revealed a lot about all of us. Let's move on to topic number 2. Guys, everyone grieves differently. And that's okay. But a new study revealed that 80% of men have shown up to a funeral with a condom. Start the clock, I guess.
Start the clock.
Oh man.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, this is kind of continuing our series of scary make horny. So we'll call this one sad make horny.
Yeah.
And there's some information on this. So well, I guess first, what do you think of that statistic, Jacob?
So the first question I have, and I imagine the study must have an answer to this, is how many of these are I'll be blunt. I've got condoms in my wallet right now, but not because I'm at work.
Whoa.
Like, it's because that's a thing that, like, when you're perpetually single, like, you just keep them around in case. You know what I mean? Like, and I guess that's what I'm wondering is, like, how many of this 80% are just like, well, I had them at, like, because I was at the bar last night, like, kind of thing. And like,
it is the best question to ask. And unfortunately, that is not part of the survey, but that's the logical thing.
Because if there's a statistical breakdown on who's like bringing one on purpose, I need to talk to those people because I need to know how their brains work.
I'm sure we'll get into their brains a little bit.
Okay,
but I guess I want to go to you. Camry, what do you think of
I
this?
agree. I feel like it's mostly just like, oh, I so happen to have this, not like I was planning on something happening at this funeral besides grieving this dead person.
And also, one more follow-up question. Is there any statistics on how many people actually have used one at a funeral?
We need to be having the survey done
these
by
are,
us.
These are the real scientific questions we need to be asking.
I mean,
if we're applying the scientific method, we need to.
We all know a person, and I won't say who, but he has post-funeral gotten jiggy, as we say. So, and we all know the person. I don't know if you know the.
I might just not remember the story, and maybe we'll just keep it at that.
Yeah, let's keep it on mic. That's how we will keep it.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about what sexologist Patty Britton had to say about this.
Tell us, Patty.
And she said, it's really about filling the void, literally and figuratively.
Okay, Patty.
The grief trajectory is about a loss of closeness, a loss of intimacy. That's why our libido kicks in to fill that void. Jacob.
This is really sad, make horny.
This is sad, make
Yeah,
horny.
sad, make horny.
And also, there's another quote I have later that's about, it's about death. You're sad. So what's a better expression of life than bringing a condom to a funeral? And ideally using that condom.
Nothing says like getting over death like wrapping it up.
Right?
I got life to live.
I can't bring another one.
I need to contain it.
Jacob, I wanted to ask you if you remember a movie. This is a little trivia. There's a movie that sort of broaches this topic.
Oh God. I mean, see, the problem is that like, so my mind went to a really dark place because I was like, I don't even know if I want to say that
He's
movie
like,
out
Steel
loud.
of Magnolias now.
No.
Okay, don't say it's not that movie.
No.
Or at least the one
Isn't
I'm
there
thinking
something
of.
in like Wedding Crashers?
Wedding Crashers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
There's that famous like Will Ferrell.
He's like
photo.
the girl.
Figures out how to pick up
and then
chicks
he's like
from funeral.
giving a thumbs up.
I'm really glad you said that because I was about to say something real different that was not that.
Well, that's why I just feel like, Wedding Crashers, like it's coming from a place. I mean, we all know, like we said, a person where this sort of happened. There is a sadness. There's a vulnerability. There was an article in Vice, and they wrote about living through the death of a loved one can put people in a very YOLO state of mind.
Classic.
Come on, man.
Classic Vice.
That's a great quote.
Why are they out of business?
YOLO state of mind.
Faced with the fleetingness of life, you may as well bone while you can. It's like humping away as the world burns around you.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's another argument for that.
I get that. But
I'm going to throw this out into the conversation too, because I feel like there might actually be another factor at play here, which is that I do know of people who have been really like turned on by the idea of specifically like kind of, there's no other way to put this, desecrating a holy place. I wonder how many people
fetishes.
Fetish, exactly. Like I wonder how many people are like, well, we're finally all in a church and there's like everyone's gathered in one spot. So,
That's
you know, yeah. Like I that might be a factor at play here too.
Interesting.
Like that sort of like exhibitionist sort of thing.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah.
I mean,
like the risk of getting caught while everybody else is crying. Like that's gotta be like really high stakes for somebody. Like there's a not indistinct chance that someone might hear this and like discover something. It's like,
that's exactly what I've been feeling all along.
I'm very sorry.
Well, that would be a very interesting to ask like a funeral home director if they've ever had any weird.
I'm willing to bet cash money the answer is yes to every single funeral parlor director in America.
They've got stories. Well,
I'm sure they've seen something.
They even beyond just people hooking up. I'm sure they.
Well, especially like high society style stuff. I mean, because I bust tables at a country club, and I'm like 99% sure I almost walked in on a like rich couple like fucking.
Oh. You should have and then blackmailed them. Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
I kind of wish I had. A little, like, it was such a funny moment.
I do also, in our final minute here, I want to tell you there was a person who wrote about their experiences when her husband died. And she wrote about this in the Washington Post. You can read about it. She describes a rush of feel-good chemicals that created an overwhelming sense of happiness, even amid my loneliness. Having sex with strangers healed me in ways that therapy, friendship, travel, writing, and photography could not. That's a different perspective when it's the person who lost their loved one.
That wasn't at his
It's
funeral.
not like I'm going to some random funeral and then I'm like hitting on people. It's like she actually...
Was it at his funeral?
I don't think it was at the funeral.
Okay.
But it was in the
After
area, you know, the sadness.
Got it.
Helped her with the chemicals, and you know, again, read about it in Vice News and Washington Post.
Dopamine any way you can.
Final thoughts, Jacob.
I mean, how do you follow that up?
You don't.
Sad make horny.
That is how I ended mine last time.
All right. We all did our best on that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
No.
Jacob. Jacob approached it with a scientist's mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of weirdly analytical, I guess. So.
I mean, for some things, you just gotta be.
Well, let's pivot away from sex and filth into something
What
more
are you,
positive.
a nun? I'm kidding.
No.
Anyway, what's your topic?
Oh, yeah. All right. So, okay, cool. I'm going to be talking about 3 of my favorite Christmas movies. I'm not going to pretend that all 3 of these are obscure. I think one of them you will all know. And that's the one we're going to start with. I think it's a good baseline. But we're going to talk about 2 of the like most insane, so bad it's good Christmas movies ever made. And I guarantee you've never heard of the second one, despite it starring Hollywood A-listers. And this is a wild thing, and we'll have some assistance from Brandon on that one. I'm very excited to talk about this.
Okay,
so
I
think we should start the clock.
Nice.
All right. So movie 1, this is my favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol, bar none, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Okay.
This is the one everyone knows. It's essentially functionally perfect. It's a genuinely great adaptation of the source material. And my favorite thing about it is that Michael Caine plays Scrooge in the film. He is in that movie because he was on tax exile, which is a fancy way of saying he wasn't living in England during the 70s to dodge British tax laws when they were filming The Muppets, because The Muppets was actually a UK production, the TV show. A lot of people don't know that these days.
I didn't know that at all. Wow.
Yeah. And he really regretted not being able to be on the show. And so he decided he was going to campaign hard to play Scrooge. And his pitch was, I'm going to treat these puppets as if they're people. And you can see it in the movie. He's not joking with any of them. And it's one of my all-time favorites.
You could recut that with real actors and his performance would be as powerful as when he's looking at a puppet.
Down to, and I'm not the first person to have this thought. It's kind of almost a meme online. Like he says with all the conviction of like Laurence Olivier, like this is Fozziwig's old rubber chicken factory. Like, and he says it just like it's normal. Yeah. And it's just, I'm in awe of his performance in the movie. I think it's like one of my favorite Christmas movie performances of all time.
The other thing about Christmas Carol is like, it's kind of long and kind of boring. Yeah. So I feel like you need some songs. You need some humor. You need little puppets. And that I think that is the best version of that story.
I don't have the stat in front of me. I believe it's under 90 minutes, including credits.
Beautiful.
Like it's just perfect version of the movie. It's my favorite one. So we're gonna bounce over to one of the so bad it's good ones.
I'm so curious.
Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. So if you're wondering like, well, what's part 1 about? Don't worry. The first 30 minutes of part 2 is just a recap of part 1 where they replay footage from the last movie. 30 minutes. Because I will say there were a lot of slashers back in the 80s, Friday the 13th part 2, part 3, all sorts of films that will like do like a 5, maybe 10 minute recap where they play footage. This is 30 full minutes. And like it's insane. Like it's so cheaply done. And apparently when they were cutting the movie together, even with the new footage they shot, they had to insert 10 minutes of credits to get it to feature length. So like it's just like garbage.
So it's like an hour long.
Yeah, no, it really.
Or 50 minutes.
They shot like maybe 30 minutes of footage. People who are like terminally online as I am have maybe seen the infamous Garbage Day clip where a guy just sets out trash on the curb and a guy walks up with a pistol and just yells, "It's Garbage Day," and shoots him. If like it's like a weird old internet meme. We're gonna move on. So one of my other favorites. This is like one of the classic 1940s.
Wait,
ones.
but you never said what that movie's about.
Oh, it's just about like a guy who's like a killer Santa Claus. Or actually, that's what part 1's about. Part 2's about his like psychotic brother who never really dresses up as Santa until like the last 10 minutes when he's trying to kill a woman in a wheelchair.
Okay, so it's just kind of batshit. Now I got it.
A guy gets killed with an umbrella. He gets stabbed through with an umbrella and then it pops open and then it starts raining to wash the blood off. It's delightfully terrible. That's highly recommended.
That sounds
you don't. I guess you don't watch that for story. You watch it for
you certainly don't.
The death scenes.
I'll kind of breeze through the best because I really want to get to the other worst one. So one of the other best ones is called Miracle on 34th Street. It's from 1947. It's technically a legal drama about a mall store Santa Claus who really believes he's Santa Claus and gets taken to court over it.
I thought he was Santa Claus.
Well, that's the ambiguous thing right up until the very end sort of thing. The lead actor, the letter scene is legendary. The lead actor, Edmund Gwenn, is probably my favorite Santa Claus on film. Don't really have a whole lot other to say about that beyond like it's one of those like Turner classic movies I grew up watching.
I hate that I've never actually seen it.
It's like to be fair, it's from the 40s. It's on the slower end of things.
It's just so
and
iconic.
Then my other favorite one. This is like my legit favorite Christmas horror movie is the original Black Christmas from 1974. Awesome proto slasher. The origin of the call is coming from inside of the house.
Oh,
like that trope is from that movie. It does like POV kills before Halloween does it, like because it's made in 74. It's 4 years before Halloween, and directed by Bob Clark, who eventually directed A Christmas Story.
Whoa.
He also did
actually insane.
He also
That's
did
actually awesome.
Porky's in between.
Well.
The financial success of Porky's is what allowed him to make A Christmas Story, which he'd been trying to make for like 10 years or something. Like he just kept making all these like kind of schlocky films to fund this passion project he'd had.
Whoa. It's funny. The other day I actually watched the remake of Black Christmas and God, it's so bad.
Oh, it was, which one? The 2006
not the
one?
Newest one. Yeah, the 2006 one with like oh God,
with whoever was available in the 2000s.
Literally.
Yeah. I don't remember anyone
so
in that
bad.
movie. But this last one,
I can't wait.
It's from 2010. I want to ask you, have you ever heard of this movie? It's called The Nutcracker: The Untold Story.
No.
Now this movie was released in 3D. This movie was at the time, the most expensive Russian film ever made at a budget of $90 million. It had it's a semi-musical. They had Tim Rice, who was a frequent collaborator of Andrew Lloyd Webber, wrote lyrics for The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. He also wrote the musical Chess, which is the origin of One Night in Bangkok. This film stars Elle Fanning, Nathan Lane, Richard E. Grant, and as the villain, the Rat King, John Turturro. Now, we're going to show you what John Turturro looks like in this movie.
Oh my. Wait, who is John Turturro? How do I know
The Rat King.
No, I mean in real life. What does he normally look like?
He's like in the Transformers movies, in some supporting parts, but he's also in a lot of excellent films. He's in like
guy.
Do the Right Thing. Yeah. He's an amazing actor. To Live and Die in LA is great in as well. Yeah, The Big Lebowski. He's the creepy bowler.
He doesn't look like that at all.
No. And so he's like
wig.
He's a fascist rat version. Like he's like basically a rat Nazi. And so I guarantee most people have never heard of this, but it made only $20.5 million total.
90.
It cost 90. It's like one of the most legendary flops ever. I don't know. Thank you for your time.
Merry Christmas. Wow.
Christmas.
Okay.
Why are we having nightmares
We're gonna
about
give
that tonight?
That's going to be the 7 Minutes in Hell bump. That movie's going to make $50 million. When all of our listeners,
I don't know if I can bear that kind of sin on my soul. If we bump that movie's numbers, we've done a terrible thing.
I guess in my mind, when you were talking about that, I assumed it was going to be animated.
No, it's live action.
It's live action.
All live action. Tons of CGI. I didn't even have them pull up the clip where they CGI John Turturro's face into like a rat monster, where like his jaw hyperextends and all this other stuff.
Okay.
Whoa.
He's singing too, by the way.
I can't wait.
I know. I'm gonna watch this.
I'm absolutely
later.
watching this. Yeah. Jacob, bless you. Thank you. What would you like to plug for yourself?
Oh gosh. I mean, I run a weekly column on the website called It Can't Be That Bad Reviews every week over on the Discord server, The Shack. That we all run for the Chive. I run a poll each week where we choose one of 4 infamous movies to review. And at the end of every review, I ask, is it really that bad? And I give a yes or no. For the record, I have given out no's. There are movies I've reviewed that I actually think are quite good. The Exorcist 3 is a fucking straight up banger. That's a really good movie. That's easily the best one I've reviewed so far. And epic movies, disaster movies, the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen. So that's my final plug. Fuck that movie.
Yeah, it's fun for us because we know that you had to watch these.
Yeah, no, I'm watching this. I don't know when this will go up, but I literally, as soon as I get home from work, I'm going to be watching another movie for this project called Strike Commando. It's an Italian Rambo ripoff from a guy named Bruno Mattei who made nothing but ripoff movies. He made a movie literally called Shocking Dark that's a ripoff of Alien and the Terminator. I think it came out in '89. In Italy, they just called it Terminator 2 because Terminator 2 didn't exist. It didn't get made till the early '90s.
Oh.
So yeah, they would just do shit like that. Italy doesn't give a fuck about copyright law and rules.
Well, hopefully people will force you to watch the Nutcracker one. And then
I guess I got to include that on one of the.
I think you got to do
Christmas.
Bad Christmas movie.
Boy, it's gonna be yikes.
So yeah, we'll share a link to the Discord. You're also, I don't know if you want to plug any other personal side things or not.
No,
please don't find me.
Don't seek me out. Find me on Discord. Thank you, Jacob. We really covered a lot of ground, from fetishes to funerals to feel-good comedy.
That might be a fetish.
Christmas.
Yeah. Oh God.
John Turturro is that little rat freak.
If we're responsible for awakening something in you, I really apologize.
Or you're welcome.
No, not with that.
Never mind.
Not with that.
I am so sorry. All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. And to all, a good time. Boy.
No one has ever said that.